is an essential part of the Georgian Christmas, and you might be surprised to find out that many of the foods we eat at Christmas today, the Georgians ate. Hi, my name is Bose, I have an MA in Early Modern English History, and I'm here today to tell you about 3 dishes that the Georgians ate at Christmas. Fact number 1. In the Georgian era, meat was considered a luxury item, and few people could afford to eat it regularly. So at Christmas time, those who could afford to have Christmas parties and grand dinners would fill their tables with varying meat dishes. Venison and beef ones were the most popular, as a display of wealth to their guests. However, goose and turkey were also increasingly popular during the Georgian era, with turkey quickly becoming a favourite, and this is how we get our association of turkey with Christmas time today. Fact number 2. Mince pies. Another festive food that we still eat today, that became largely associated with Christmas during the Georgian era, is the mince pie. But be warned, if you were ever offered a Georgian mince pie, they taste very different to the ones that we eat today. Georgian mince pies were often a combination of actual mincemeat and suet, as well as sultanas and brown sugar, which became increasingly available as the price of sugar lowered. If you don't know what suet is the raw, hard fat of beef and lamb, and was a very popular ingredient in cooking recipes in the Georgian era, and still is used today in cooking. One Georgian woman, Mary Smith, published a recipe book in 1772 which contained a recipe for mince pies. I doubt you want to eat this mince pie though, because one of the main ingredients in it was ox tongue, which had to be boiled for 2 to 3 hours before it could be made into a mince pie. Thankfully, the mince pie recipe has evolved since the Georgian era, and today we mainly make mince pies out of fruit. Fact number 3. Bring me some figgy pudding. You've probably heard something about figgy pudding before. After all, there's a terribly famous Christmas carol where the singers demand to be bought some figgy pudding. I won't assault your ears by trying to sing it now. A lot of people believe the Victorians invented figgy pudding, but this is a common misconception. Figgy pudding actually has a very long history over the centuries. It's had a large number of names, and the recipe has changed significantly since the original ones. Today, figgy pudding is what we call Christmas pudding, if you're a little bit confused. One of the first recorded mentions of figgy pudding in England occurred in 1392, when a recipe was published for plum pottage, which was the predecessor to figgy pudding. This was made as a sort of broth, with raisins, wine and meat as the main ingredients. And by the 17th century, this plum pottage began to take on a much more solid appearance and was frequently cooked in a skin-like sausage casing to keep it all together. And this would be served more often or not with the main meal alongside the meats and the vegetables, rather than as a pudding, which is the English word for dessert in case you're not familiar. And by the 18th century, plum pottage became irreversibly connected with Christmas. It was the Georgians who did this, not the Victorians. And people started to call it Christmas pottage, or Christmas pudding. On the screen is a recipe for Christmas pottage by Charles Carter, and this was published in 1730 in England, and it's certainly very different from the Christmas pudding we eat today, but you can still see the similarities, and I'm sure the Georgians enjoyed it all the same. That was 3 Georgian foods that we still eat today at Christmas time. Will any of these foods be featuring on your Christmas table this year? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out my playlist, which is linked below, on the weird history of Christmas traditions.